It cut out then. Hello, beautiful ones. Welcome to Reclaim Your Wellness. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Holly. Gorgeous to have you here. I am so pleased you are with me, and I wanted to talk you through a little bit about what to expect over the next 5 weeks. So I am running this different to any free event series I have done before, with the view of the reason I've spread it out, right? Let me give you some context. So normally when I do a free event series, I will do the days back to back. So like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we go on a bit of a rampage. Probably the wrong word for wellness, but hey ho, we go on this kind of real journey over 5 days in a week. However, here's what I've been thinking, here's what I've been feeling, and I would love to know if this resonates with you. But before I do that, I am just going to check in the group, and I am going to make sure that my video is pinned, so anyone that hops in can find me. So bear with people. There I am. I had a moment there. I thought, am I live in the wrong group? No, I'm in the right group. Awesome. Louise, gorgeous. I can see that you've liked the video. You're ahead of the game. I love it. 1 minute, bear with. Because, 1 minute, I need to turn my sound off on my laptop. There we go. Can you hear me okay? I should start with that because I've just realised I haven't put my earphones in, which I normally use. But actually that might be a good thing because sometimes they're a bit distracting. But I wanted to tell you about how this event series is going to work and why it's completely different to the event series or the previous event series that I've done. And many of you that are in this group have attended many of my free event series. But one of the decisions I made this time round was, instead of this being a consecutive, like every day we're going to do a live and we're going to have tasks to do, I was thinking, do you know what? That doesn't really align to wellness. It doesn't really align to what I'm teaching, because I genuinely believe that one of our biggest issues is that we live in a society that is so fast, that is so quick. And as women generally, we have so many expectations on us already. And then you throw in the mix a chronic health condition. And I don't know about you, but when I'm poorly, when my health is acting up, I am my own worst enemy, in the respect of I will beat myself up continuously. I should be doing more. I should be doing more. I should be doing more. Now, over the years, I've got better at that. But what I have found is that society may not get that. Society still doesn't really get that I can't keep up with that pace. And if I'm honest, as an Ayurvedic health coach, I don't think anyone can. And I think it's one of the reasons that we're experiencing so many issues, right? If you think about, I'm on my soapbox now, but bear with. If you think about what happened between, say, 1950 through to where we are now, as women, what we have experienced is far more liberation, of course, right? We've been invited, we've been given permission to join the workforce. Well, actually, probably a bit before that, because we were invited to join the workforce because they needed us during the war. But after that, they realised that actually, there's a market here that we can tap into. If we can get 2 people in the household working, then actually we can sell them more stuff, and that's better for the economy. And that's kind of what happened, right? So they started encouraging women to go out and work, and you can do it all and you can have it all, without considering the other things that women have to hold. So it took a long time, and I'm still not sure we're there yet in terms of, you know, gender equality at home. How much is the woman still doing compared to the man? Whether that's in relation to, you know, not so much hopefully these days, but the housework, the cleaning, the cooking, the laundry. Even when you take that out of the equation, one of the things as women that we are wired to do is, and we're literally wired for this, right? This is biological. We are wired to hold the mental load of the well-being of our family. So this was a thing that me and my husband would often like laugh about or joke about, is I'd be sat there worrying about my brother, I'd be worrying about my dad, I'd be worrying about my kids, I'd be worrying about my friends, and he can just switch off. And I used to like look at him in awe and be like, how do you do that? Like, genuinely, how do you do that? And then on top of that, you put on top of everything else we've got going on, a chronic health condition. And then we wonder why we feel like we can't keep up. We wonder why we feel so rubbish about ourselves. But the truth is, expectations that, you know, even if it's society, we're not doing it, we put on ourselves, right? And I would love to know if that resonates with you. Pop it in the comments, let me know. Because that was my big thing with my chronic health condition, was I had to start learning how to accept help. I had to start learning how to accept support. I had to start learning to say no. I had to start learning to say yes to me. I had to start learning what it meant to prioritize me above other tasks, other people, and not feel guilty, not feel bad about that, not feel like I was doing something wrong or that I wasn't good enough because I couldn't keep up. So I would love to know if that makes sense to you, and what I hope you will experience during these, like I say, it's going to be 5 weeks. So each week we will have a lesson in here that will be live, and it's going to be interactive, right? I need you guys to be interactive with me. I need your input. I need to know what you're experiencing in order to be able to give you my best and all of my knowledge. Otherwise, you know, make the most of it is what I'm saying, because literally, I'm laughing because my teenage daughters say that all the time. Literally, this could be a paid program. I could have marketed and sold this as a paid program, but because this subject is so close to my heart, I've decided not to. I've decided I want this to be available to those that need it the most right now. And if you're in that position, then I get it, right? I've been on my knees. I've been on my backside going upstairs because my arthritis has been that bad. I've been in the position where I couldn't pick up my baby because all my joints were so swollen and frozen that I was scared of dropping my baby. I know what that's like. I know what it's like to feel like you're continuously letting people down. I know what it's like to feel like you're having to cancel every plan that's been made. I know what it's like to feel like you're a burden to the people you love. I get it. But what I hope you will experience in these 5 weeks of lessons is the real kind of understanding of the root cause of your condition. And more importantly, with that comes the I don't want to say formula because that sounds so structured and masculine, because this is really about you understanding you and your individual body and what has caused it to go out of balance, and how we can redirect that to a place where I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to cure every condition that you have, of course not, but to put you in the best possible state for your body to heal, and for you to be in the position where you have the information so you won't develop more conditions going forward. Because that's often what happens. Often when our body is out of balance, if we don't correct it, or correct the things that we've been doing that's allowed it to get out of balance, then what we will find is we'll start collecting conditions, because your body's out of balance, and the condition is the result of that imbalance. And we'll go into that properly during these 5 weeks together. But for now, know that that's my intention for this course, is that you're going to come out feeling informed, feeling empowered, and feeling positive about the future, and feeling positive about the impact you can have on your health. Because I know what it feels like to have your power taken away, to feel like you're just in the hands of the GPs and the consultants who are trying the best with the system that they have available. And I have nothing against Western medicine. Western medicine has genuinely helped me and my condition, but it couldn't give me all the answers. And it couldn't give me the answers to help me take better care of myself. You know, the generic information didn't work for me. The eat your fruit and veg, do exercise, the, you know, be within your ideal weight range. I'd gone through stages in my life where I hadn't done that, and I'd gone through stages where I had done that, and neither seemed to make a difference. But Ayurveda did. And that's why I am sharing that wisdom with you. And I hope it is going to have the most beautiful impact on the way you take care of you, and how you feel about you, and how you feel about your body. Because, I'm saying because a lot, I'm noticing that. One of the things that I noticed on my wellness journey, and I again would love to know if this resonates with you, is I found myself in what felt like a battle or a war with my body. This body was this inconvenient thing that kept getting in the way of everything I wanted to do. My relationship with my body was not healthy. It was not good. Whereas I hope by the end of this, that will be very different for you if that's where you are now. Okay, so that's a really brief overview of the kind of taste or flavour of what we've got to come. Like I've mentioned on the sign up page, you know, we are going to be diving into some really juicy topics. We're going to be looking at the nervous system. We're going to be looking at the doshas, which is like the patterns of energy, and how they, and that sounds woo-woo, but actually when you start diving into it, you realise it's not. You realise it's practical, it's logical, it makes sense. And you start to realise the potential impact of that from everything, from everything. When you start looking at your food, your lifestyle, your relationships, the way you treat your body, the way you talk to yourself from an energetic point of view, everything changes. So we're going to be doing that. We're also going to be looking at, I don't want to minimize it and call it gut health, but we will be looking at what we take in, how we transform that into something we need, like nutrition, as well as mentally what we're taking in, and the environments we put ourselves in, and how we digest that in a way that's going to be really healthy for us. So physically, mentally, emotionally, digesting things so that we don't end up with baggage, whether that's emotional baggage or toxicity or, you know, anything that ends up in our body, mind, spirit, soul, that isn't taken in a way that is going to serve us. So that is something else we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at our mindset. Our mindset is a huge thing when it comes to our wellness. It is something I'm deeply passionate about. And I've just, oh wow, I've just caught a glimpse of the moon coming up. It's looking super stunning. It's one of the reasons I have my office on this side of the house, so I can actually see the moon rising. Anyway, I've got distracted. So we're going to be looking at mindset. We're going to be looking at routines, and like, I'm a little bit resistant to the word routines because it sounds boring. I don't know about you, I hear that word and I'm like, really? Whereas actually, if I think about daily rituals or, you know, this kind of, if I can make it feel luxurious, if I can make it feel like, oh yeah, I want to do that, then that is so much easier for me to do. Rather than when I tell myself in this really kind of masculine way, I need to do this, I need to do this, and I need to do that. I'm already switched off, right? It's not going to happen. So we're going to look at how we can create those daily rituals that really nurture you on every level, right? It's not enough to nurture yourself on just one level. Often when we think about wellness, we think about just physically. And yeah, we need to think about that because it's important, but it's also mentally, emotionally. How are you nurturing yourself in your day-to-day life? And that doesn't mean it's got to be this big grand thing. It doesn't mean it has to be, you know, taking yourself out to a spa every single day, although one day, eh? But taking that energy into your day as you take care of yourself, of, I get to do this, I get to do this. Turning your self-care into a pleasure instead of this chore on your ever-growing to-do list, right? If your self-care is depleting your energy, you're doing it wrong. The whole point is it should fill you up. It should make you feel better. It should make you feel good. And so that's what we're going to be doing over the 5 weeks. I hope that sounds awesome to you. I'm so looking forward to sharing this with you. These are the things that have been so fundamental in my journey, and especially the past 12 months. Many of you know I had like a real tough time with my wellness over the past 12 months. I had a bout of COVID, which then flared up my condition, which had been in remission for years because I'd managed it so well with Ayurveda, and then COVID threw it out and I couldn't get on top of it, and it was driving me insane. And all the mental stuff was coming into, you know, all the judgment. I should know better. I should be on top of this. Should. I was shoulding all over myself. And so I had to, many times over that 12-month period, come back to these things. Come back to, okay, you may not be able to control it all, Holly, right? You may not be able to solve this overnight, but you know your stuff and you know the things that will help. And so what I've done is put those things in this free event series. So, you know, no matter how you're feeling or where you are, you will have these things to draw on ongoing. I'm not taking it away. I hope that sounds good to you. So that's a bit about what we will experience together, but I also wanted to let you know about something else that I'm doing for 2 reasons, okay? I'm completely upfront, 2 reasons, but I'm going to take a sip of my tea, bear with. I have to show you this. Actually, I have recently made a new tea blend, which has been super lovely, because normally I buy dried herbs and then I make my own tea blends. You know, drawing on my Ayurvedic knowledge, using it for different things. I've made a few different tea blends recently. You know, we're in harvest season, this Vata season, Ayurvedic season, where we're harvesting things. And I've made some beautiful tea blends that are medicinal and taste beautiful, that are going to help me in terms of not only things like, I often use teas for liver function, I often use teas for gut health, I often use teas for things like my mental clarity and stuff like that, because, you know, chronic conditions doesn't just affect one thing, right? Who else has brain fog? But I've made this beautiful anti-inflammatory blend, which I'm loving at the moment. I will post a recipe. I'll post a recipe in here at some point. Anyway, she's gone off track again. So I have lined up for you 2 prize draws. One wasn't enough. I just wanted to keep on giving. So we've got 2 prize draws happening during this event series. So the first one is because, honestly, I need your help, guys. So the first one is, I need some help getting the word out. So to enter this first prize draw, what you need to do is to share the post about this event from my Facebook page. And what I will do actually is, after this live is over, I will put a link to that post in the comments to make it super easy for you. All you need to do is share it on your Facebook page and then message me to let me know you've done it. And what I can do is just like, not that I don't trust you, of course I trust you, but like I can see who shared the post, sort of thing. So that is to enter you into prize draw 1. Louise teas that taste nice. Yeah, I know that's tough sometimes with herbal teas, right? I had this, we're going off topic, but I'm going to tell you this. I can remember in my 20s having this real aversion to herbal tea, which was ironic because I loved herbs. I cooked with herbs. I'd grown herbs. If I'm honest, I've been reading books on herbalism since my teens. I've always loved herbs. Like I didn't have a herbal subscription, but I had an aromatherapy subscription from about the age of like 11. I was that weird child. Because I've always loved this stuff. I've always loved it. It's always been in me, this kind of like witchy woman ways. I've loved it. Like the thought of like self-sufficiency around medicine. And then I lost it in my 20s. Like because life took over, kids took over, career took over. And then when I got ill, it almost felt like the universe was saying, no, you need to go back to what you love. And it's amazing how things work out. But yeah, one of my big aversions was to like herbal teas. And one of the things that got me past it was making my own, because then I could make it to my taste. And I could also make it with my Ayurvedic knowledge to the things I needed. And I do the same with my garden now. So I plant the things that I need. I plant the things that are best use to me. So for example, in our garden, some of the things that we have is we have an abundance of different types of mint. Mint is generally very good for someone that has, and we'll go into the doshas, but has my doshic makeup. Mint, actually there's different types of mint that have different qualities, and I have many different types, but generally the mint family is very good for my dosha. I also grow an abundance of feverfew. Feverfew is an awesome herb if you suffer from migraines, which I don't, but my husband does. So I plant loads of that, and it's also a very good anti-inflammatory. So for me, perfect. So this is the thing, once you have the knowledge, you can become so self-sufficient in terms of how you garden, what you do with that. Another thing that I'm making at the moment is, and I really need to share more of this on social media. I'm rubbish at social media. I keep saying this to my kids, you need to do it for me. I'm making at the moment my own deep heat blend because I love deep heat. When my joints are acting up, the cooling, like the cooling balm doesn't really do anything for me. But what does is deep heat. And I'm making my own we've been growing lots of fresh chilies this year. I love chilies. Like, I can get away with chilies in like autumn period. Summertime, my digestion won't be able to handle it. But in autumn period, I'm all good. So, which I'm pleased about because I'm currently like harvesting them now. And I'm making a beautiful like deep heat that I can use, and I'm also combining the feverfew that is the natural anti-inflammatory, so it's like deep heat mixed with ibuprofen, so it's like a double whammy, and that's the great thing, right? When you have the knowledge to support your own health, you feel empowered and it feels exciting, and I love it, and I feel like a witch while I'm doing it. It's brilliant. As I said that, Lou, I've just seen your comment. You're our white witch of wellness. Holy, do you know what? You should be my branding expert. Clearly, Lou, I'm going to hook you up with with that. Sounds awesome. Yeah. And here's the thing, right? Take me back 100 years, probably a bit more. 100 years, I probably would have been working in an apothecary. 100 years before that, I would have been burnt at the stake. Let's be honest. Oh, Lou. Okay, so prize draws. Keep getting distracted. Prize draws. So for the first one, all I need you to do is to share the post about the event on my Facebook page. I will put the link in the comments so it's easy to find, really easy to find. Okay, so that's prize draw 1. We will do the prize draws together at the end of the event series, but there's going to be 2 separate ones. So that's prize draw 1. Prize draw 2. Prize draw 2 is like to encourage you to do the work. Now, the reason I've done that is because I know how hard that is. I am never going to sit here and say to you, this is easy. What's the issue? I was the most unhealthiest person you could find. Like my 20s. Oh my God, if I told you about my 20s, like you wouldn't believe that I was a health coach. If I bumped into someone that knew me in either my teens or my 20s and told them I'm a holistic health coach, they would laugh in my face easily, because my diet in especially my late teens, early 20s was appalling. My diet was like all fast food. My exercise was 0. I was living a very studenty lifestyle, but without being a student. So I was working at the time in hotels. So I can remember I used to do these split shifts where I'd get on shift at like 6 o'clock in the evening, work through till about 1 o'clock. Then the arrogance of youth. I would then go out clubbing, drinking, of all things, I would be drinking like vodka and Red Bull because I was exhausted. And then I would like probably get a couple of hours sleep at best. Sometimes not even that. Sometimes it was like walk straight to work. And then I'd do the breakfast shift at work and not finish work until like lunchtime, go home, have a kip, and come back. Oh, lost signal, it's back. It's probably a good thing. I was telling all my naughty secrets about my 20s and my terrible health. So what I want you to know is I'm not going to sit here on a pedestal. I'm not going to sit here preaching at you. I get how hard it is. I get how intimidating wellness can be. And it's one of the things that really motivated me to become a health coach. Was the only health coaches I saw were people that told me to work and train harder. It was very masculine. It was like, do more, be more, go to the gym more, lift more. I couldn't do that. It wasn't in my nature. Or I saw the opposite, which was like, just let go of it all. And I could see there's this thing, actually, if we want to get well, we've got to have this kind of balance where we're listening to ourselves, we're listening to our intuition, we're listening to our body. We're not trying to follow some generic guidance. We're actually taking into account what works for us. And that's what works for us physically, what works for us emotionally, what works for us mentally, because we're not just one of those things, we're all of those things. And so it's got to work holistically, as well as whatever's going on in our life. You know, I've got 3 kids. I homeschool my youngest. I have many different things that I'm interested in. I'm running a business and I've got to try and take care of myself amongst all of that. So I get it's not always easy. And I feel like I completely went off topic again. So prize draw number 2. That's what we were starting to touch on. Prize draw number 2 is this way to kind of support you to take the action. And like I say, the action I'm talking about, it's not going to be big action. We're not talking about going for a run. We're not talking about doing anything major. It's going to be little things that will help you understand yourself, understand your body, understand your mind, and understand Ayurveda. Because when you combine those two, you have got the perfect recipe to look after you from a place of nurturing, not from a place of punishment, not from a place of guilt, not from a place of shame, but from a place of, I deserve this, I get to do this, I'm gonna take care of me because I'm important too. So to be in that prize draw for number 2, what I'm inviting you to do is like or give a little love heart. I would love a little love heart instead of a like on all the training videos, including this one. That also helps me with the algorithm so that the people in the group get to see it. And just comment on each video that I get to do. So that comment could be, hi. But what I would invite you to do is kind of stretch yourself. If that feels, it may not be a stretch for you. For some people it may be. So if you feel like a bit of a lurker, someone who likes to lurk in the background and not actually write comments, I would invite you to get involved, because what we've seen in studies is those that get involved in the trainings, not just for my trainings, but trainings generally, especially online, those that actually get involved will not only retain the information better, but they'll actually start implementing it. So it's super important for both me and you. So as I ask questions, even if you're watching on replay, watch the videos as if I'm live. You know, interact as if I'm live. And what I can promise you is I will read every single comment. And if you've posed any questions or anything that seems really relevant, I will come back to you, I will comment on it. You know, this, I genuinely want you to get as much value as possible out of this program. I haven't created it for no reason. I really want you to get the most out of it. So you need to like and comment on each video. The second thing is do the task. Like I mentioned, do the task. They're not going to be big tasks. So there'll be a task at the end of each video, not this one. So a task at the end of each video for you to do before the next week. So you'll have a whole week to do it. We're not going to do this back to back. It's going to be a whole week in between each lesson so that you have that time for it really to settle and integrate. And if you're like me, I'm reflective. So I like to go away and I like to think about things, and I like to think about how does that apply to me and what might that look like in this circumstance, and what about when this happens. I'm hoping that week break will give you a chance to really sit with this and really start to think about how this applies to you. And so if you come back the next week with a load of questions, brilliant, because then I can help you with that. Okay, so like each video, comment on each video, do the tasks. Final thing that you need to do is to, in the group, do a little introduction post. If you want to, you can do it as a video. If you want to, you can put a photo on it. If you don't want to do any of that, you can just write a couple of lines. When I say introduction post, is what I personally would love to see is an answer to the question, why are you here? What brought you here? So, and that's up to you how much you want to share. Because I get it feels deeply personal. I get that can make you feel vulnerable. And I don't want to put you in a position that you're not comfortable in. But what I can promise you is that this group will be safe. So if at any point, and so this is kind of something for you all to bear in mind, if at any point there's anyone in this group that makes anyone feel unsafe or unseen or unheard or diminished or like their thoughts don't matter, that person will be leaving the group, because this is going to be a supportive space. I expect us all to hold that. I expect us all to allow each other the room to be really vulnerable, even when it triggers something within us. Because that's the thing, right? When we see someone else being really vulnerable, sometimes it brings up stuff for us and it makes us go, oh my God, I've been holding the same stuff inside. I've been pretending that's not there. Because how many times do you feel you have to put on a mask in order to get through the day? How many times do you have to pretend you're not in pain? How many times do you have to pretend that you're not in frustration because your body is not working the way you want it to? How many times are you frustrated because you don't have the energy that you want? But also, how many times are you holding that back from the people you love because you don't want to be more of a burden? You don't want to be an inconvenience. You don't want to bring others down. You don't want to put that on them. I get it. But this space is a space where you can let it all out. It's a space where you can be completely real. It's a space where you will be held no matter what you share. Even if to you it feels sticky or ugly or uncomfortable, you're going to be safe here. And I want you to know that. Okay, lovelies. So that's the 2 ways to answer. That felt really deep. And then I'm going into prize draws. Okay, so the 2 ways to enter 2 different prize draws. The first one is, if you can, share the post that's on my Facebook page, just because that will allow me to reach more people. So if someone else needs this, they will see it and it will allow them to access it. So if you do that, message me to let me know that you've shared it and I can double check and your name will go into a hat. The second way is to, like I say, there's 3 different things you need to do on that, is like and comment on each video, do the tasks. And when I say do the tasks, the reason I will know you will do the tasks is I will post in the group and ask you to comment below to confirm that you've done the task. And the third thing is do an intro post, just so I know that I could bring what you need to the table during these 5 weeks. What I don't want to do is give you a 5-week course that is completely irrelevant based on different things. So if I need to adapt the content I've prepared, I will do. How is that sounding to you? So lovelies, I'm going to love you and leave you. We officially kick off next Wednesday. I will probably be posting a few different things in here and a few little updates on what's going on at this end. It's a little bit chaotic at this end, if I'm really real. We have just started back homeschooling today. My office, I'm in the middle of decorating, not very successfully. I'm also due to be going to a camper van festival, not this weekend, the weekend after, and have lots of stuff I want to get done in the camper van. But it's all good. It's all good. It's all exciting stuff. And I hope everything is good at your end. I love that, Lou. You love being held accountable for taking action, not procrastinating. Awesome. That's my intention. That's why we have the second prize draw. I don't know about you, but I am so much better at taking action. If I know someone is like going, have you done it? I'm more likely to. All right, lovelies. I will love you and leave you. I look forward to seeing you next week for this event series when we kick off. We're going to be kicking off, not really kicking off, we're going to be starting with the nervous system, because if the nervous system is out of balance, it will throw everything else out. So we need to start there first. And I look forward to seeing you then. Take care.